Recently, we published a video on how to safely pasteurize, and we've received some questions since then, and there have been several other content creators out there making pasteurizing content since. Generally, there are two times people will pasteurize their homebrew. One is that they want to sweeten with a fermentable sugar, like sugar or honey, and not use stabilizers like potassium metabisulfite or potassium sorbate. The other is that people want to sweeten and carbonate with the same sugar and then pasteurize to stop additional fermentation once the bottles have reached the appropriate level of carbonation. And both of these reasons are perfectly valid as long as you're making sure you're doing your pasteurization safely. So I wanted to take a moment and address some of the potential ways that pasteurizing your homebrew can fail. The first is temperature. Either you don't get it warm enough and actually effectively kill off the yeast in the bottle, or it gets too warm and the pressure builds up under your cork or cap, pops the cork or cap off, and your brew goes everywhere. And it can't be stressed enough that too much pressure in the bottle is very dangerous. You definitely want to be using a plastic test bottle if you are sweetening and carbonating in the bottle before pasteurizing. You want to make sure you're at just the right amount of pressure for it to be sparkling without it being over-carbonated before you put it in that hot water. And your goal is to reach your pasteurization temperature, often that's 145 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes, and let it sit there for that full amount of time. Because pasteurization is a mix of both temperature and contact time. And so you really need to follow some good instructions on pasteurizing so you don't do it for too low a temperature or too high a temperature. Safety in homebrewing is about eliminating as much risk as possible. And so if you're going to be pasteurizing, you should really adhere to some best practices. It should always be the last step after your brew is finished and sealed in the bottle. You don't want to pasteurize open containers because wild yeast can still get in there and restart fermentation. 2, the internal temperature needs to be held at the right temperature for the right amount of time to kill the yeast. 3, you need to make sure that neither the pressure in the bottle or the ullage, which is the space between your brew and its cork or cap, are not too high. Having too much pressure in the bottle or having too little airspace in the bottle can lead to your closures failing during pasteurization. And as always, nothing is guaranteed, and pasteurization definitely still comes with some chance of risk, even when you're trying to cover all your bases. For more information on pasteurizing, check out our recent video walking you through the safest way to do the process.